my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
They're here.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
It's showtime.
Right, welcome everybody to another episode of VHS Strikes Back. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Phelps, and my co-host and very good friend is Mr. Dave Horrocks.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to the VHS Strikes Back, the show where we dust off the old video player and go on a nostalgic journey to look at the good and bad movies of yesteryear. Now, Chris, what is it we're going to be reviewing this week?
We're going to be reviewing, Dave, one of mine and yours cult classics, I think, and it's Commando by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Awesome stuff, awesome stuff. And so what are your memories, your early memories of this movie?
Well, actually, Dave, I know it's probably sacrilege for me, but I wasn't aware, but I wasn't into a lot of Arnie films, mostly because I sort of grew up around that time. This come out in 1985, so about 87, 88. My mum and dad literally just let me watch Lethal Weapon, which is probably as violent as this, if not worse. And then I was on the Beverly Hills Cop train because my dad liked to. I remember for my 11th birthday actually getting bought Lethal Weapon and Beverly Hills Cop 1. And they were both 18s, and I was absolutely over the moon telling all my mates, that I'd got these things. So Arnie sort of passed me by, and it was only around about 1990 when my cousin, who was at 16 at the time, had got into bodybuilding, and he started going to the gym. And I remember him saying, I've got these movies, these films. And I'd always seen him. I'd always seen Raw Deal. I'd always seen The Terminator and stuff. And I think I'd seen The Terminator, but only bits of it when it was on TV. And I remember him sitting me down and making me watch all these films of Arnie because he was his absolute hero. And obviously, at the time, bodybuilding, Arnie was the only person who's ever transcended properly other than Lou Ferrigno because of the Hulk. Mm-hmm. But Arnie was the main guy, even then, around the late 80s, early 90s. And I remember just being totally transfixed with the size of him. And that, in some respects, because I was 12 around about 1990, so that's when it took my journey. When I got to 15, 16, I started going to the gym then because I absolutely idolised Arnie and everything about him. So this, for me, just cemented Arnie as that top echelon of some of my favourite actors when I was a kid.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure we've said it in the past because for me, I don't think people in general, but certainly not my mum and dad, they didn't really care too much about age ratings, I don't think. No, they wouldn't let me watch, some of the really bad stuff like the horror movies that were out in the kind of 70s and 80s. But stuff like Commando, Rambo was out the same year, wasn't it? So old Sly Stallone as well there, with a similar kind of movie, if you like, where he's just taking on a massive army. So I'd have seen this kind of around 88-ish, I think, when it was on video. We managed to acquire a local copy, so I was able to watch it over and over. And I just remember absolutely loving it. It was just, it was at that time in my life where you kind of gravitated from the more kind of kiddish movies, and things like Star Wars and Back to the Future, stuff like that, it taps into that big kid in you. But then this was like a movie for me that was like a rite of passage almost. This was, a bit of swearing, quite a lot of violence. And then you had this ultimate male, and unlike Rocky III, it's not versus the ultimate meatball. You just had this absolute specimen walking around and just absolutely taking out everyone. And of course, a little bit what I'd say about the modern kind of Marvel movies, for me, they just seem to nail the action, the seriousness, but also a bit of comedy as well. I just think that balance of it is just, I remember as a kid just thinking, it was so good. But, so this is another one on my list where I had to question myself and how much time I spent in front of the TV watching a bit of Betamax and VHS videos. But yeah, so I absolutely love this one. And it's got to be up there, I think, with Arnie's best one-liners, I think, this movie, for me.
Yeah, it's got them all, to be fair. Everyone you can think of, other than Gets of the Chopper, it's got everything else, Dave, hasn't it, which is brilliant.
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because normally, you get writers, studios and what have you, and they'll be protective over their scripting and their dialogue. Whereas half of the dialogue from this seemed to be from Terminator. And I'm sure we'll get onto that. And I'm going to apologize to you, Chris. I'm going to apologize to our listeners up front in advance, because there may be some terrible Arnie impressions. I think it's the law, actually. If you go through an Arnie movie and review it, you have to throw out some awful Arnie impressions, I think.
Yeah, don't worry, Dave. I don't think I'm going to be far behind you.
So, shall we have a quick listen to the trailer then?
Let's go.
They hunted him down.
You know, Colonel, we went to a lot of trouble to find you.
They murdered his friends. And they took the only thing he would kill for.
If you want your kid back, then you gotta cooperate. Right? Wrong.
Now, somewhere, somehow, someone's gonna pay.
Do you think that he is going to give us any problems?
You'll do exactly as he's told.
Hasta luego, fellas.
You're a funny guy, Sully. That's why I'm going to kill you last.
Are you gonna tell me what's going on or what?
No. Don't disturb my friend. He's dead tired. What are you doing?
Helping you get her back.
Remember, Sally, when I promised to kill you last?
That's what made you did.
I lied.
If it's a mission no man can survive, he's the man for the job. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Commando.
Let's party.
Yes, we start the film off. We start off with some bin men emptying bins. It looks sort of normal in suburbia, and we pan to this guy in bed with his missus, who he's definitely cashed all his chips into.
He's fucking done all right, hasn't he? You noticed that as well.
Oh, yeah. There's not a cat in hell's chance that she was into him. Either that or he's got a 12-inch cock, Dave. I'm not sure, but he definitely... There's no way he could totally miscast completely. But... He's like, oh, the bins. Oh, maybe they've changed the schedule. And he comes out, takes the bins down, and the two guys there who look totally out of place as bin men. Let's be honest there, with the old bandanas around their faces, just take him out completely. And then one by one, we take out three other guys, including, we didn't know at the time, Bennett on the boat. And then it comes to John Matrix, and we've got Colonel Kirby comes down in the helicopter. But just before that, we have got one of the most ridiculously sickly moments with his daughter. I'm sorry, Dave. I love this film, but it's terrible. The whole, oh my God, I love you, Dad. And it's, what's in this sandwich? Oh, you don't want to know. I was like, oh, no.
Yeah. Why don't they just call him Girl George?
Yeah, Girl George. No, Dad, we'll test all that.
Now, I've got to tell you, Chris, I did have a massive crush when I was a kid on Alicia Milano. And so, fortunately, she turned out, very lovely in adulthood as well. But I just want to go back to a second from, taking out those ex-special ops guys. I mean, none of them really looked like they were ex-special ops guys, did they?
No. At
all. They didn't have any kind of physicality or look like they'd seen action or anything. But I think what struck me, I mean, straight away, as soon as it comes up, again, I remember it straight away. Not the details, but I just remember the scenes, getting off the back of the lorry and stuff like that. But it struck me because you got old Bill Duke there. You get some of these reoccurring characters, don't you, that you see pop up in Arnold movies. I always think of him as in Predator, where he's like, "Oh yeah," he's that guy, isn't he? But when he says, "Oh, I thought I'd miss you," again, great short bit of dialogue there, and they just kind of casually get out these Uzis. Now, this is a guy, special ops guy. He's seen lots of action. And the slowness which they got those Uzis out and then, delivered that one-liner, "Don't worry, we won't." I was just thinking, if that was Arnie, come on, he'd have been, well, first of all, he'd have smelt you. He'd have smelt the gunpowder, and he'd have been off there, and you'd have been squished up in the bin, in the trash can bin. But yeah, I just thought, no, I'm not buying that. If he's supposed to be this special ops guy, he would have at least flinched a bit, but he just stands there like a lemon, like I would probably, and just ends up getting filled full of lead. But then again, oh, sorry, go on.
No, sorry, go on.
And then again, the car salesman. Special ops guy, trained assassin probably. Well, first of all, you get the keys in the car and old Bill Dukes is there like, the best thing is the price. And it's like, right, to stop this car, I'm going to jump on the bonnet. And it's just like, it's a bit of a stretch, some of the way these guys go out early doors.
Yeah, it is, Dave, it is. And honestly, nothing. You're right what you were saying. That bit when he just walked in front of the car, I was like, he's getting ploughed over here. Why the fuck would you stand there? He's got the keys on. He's already reversed it out. He's obviously getting a run up to do a runner. I was like, no, I'm not having it. But again, nothing supersedes, Dave, that stupid, sickly father and daughter scene. It was fucking pathetic. I'm sorry. It was pathetic. He's chopping wood, Arnie, and he looks absolutely bodybuilding condition, like he could step on the stage in this. He looked absolutely class in this. He's like the body you dream of. And he's there, and she creeps up on him, and he does the old, a bit like he's sort of looking in the axe, sort of the top of the axe.
That old chestnut.
Yeah, that old chestnut, Dave, which you've seen in a few films. And then he picks it up, and he says, oh, yes. And then it's like, he's, she's called Jenny, and she's, oh, Jenny. And then they do this whole scene where she gets the ice cream in his face and she makes a sandwich, saying, I love you, Dad. And I'm like, oh my God, this is fucking terrible. All right, we get it. He's a good dad. There's no mum around. He's a great dad. We get it. We don't need this whole sort of sickly scene with Arnie. And then Arnie's like acting like a proper, trying to be a goofball chasing after her. And I'm thinking, it looks so shit. It does look shit.
It does look bad, doesn't it? It looks like a parody. It looks something where someone's taking the piss out of exactly this sort of scene. And he doesn't, we'd never seen him before. I think one of the reasons he was drawn to this movie and this script was that he could be just that normal person. All right, trained special ops guy as well, but he had a normal kind of family life. But I wasn't buying it at all. And no, I don't know why. It's just that shit-eating grin he's got when she puts the ice cream in his face. It just looks all wrong.
Yeah, it doesn't. I was very uncomfortable with this scene, completely uncomfortable with it. And I think as well, when Kirby comes and he does the old, John, are you there? And he pulls the old switcheroo with the gun and all this. I'm like, no. Again,
another special ops guy who's supposed to be special ops, but he can't see someone in an open field sneak up on him and nick his gun.
It's nonsense. It's fucking nonsense. It really is. But he does the old trick, like, your whole team's been taken out, John. Okay. And he's like, and he leaves them, what these guys are like, they're good, but they're not as good as you. And I'm like, right, okay. So as soon as the helicopter thing, what I love, Dave, a typical 80s action film. I know I'm sort of shitting on it a little bit, but I'm absolutely loving it because I love Arnie. They start firing, Arnie gets in the house, and one of the soldiers is literally decapitated, and he's been shot on the arm, and it's come right through his body, and he can hardly walk, and he's lay on the floor. And so Arnie goes, how are you? He goes, I think I'm going to make it. I'm like, what? What are you going to make? You can't even stand up. You're a doctor now. Can you tell us how injured you are? I was like, oh, fuck off. But then, obviously, Arnie, I still can't get my head around why he said to her, go and hide in your room. I just don't. It's not. I know we got taken years later and she had to hide under the bed. His daughter leaving his door. But this made no sense. Surely he would keep her next to you and put her in the shed with all the weapons or something. Just go under the bed.
I can't help but think of a little bit of, Deadpool breaking the fourth wall there. It's like, go and hide in your room. Why, Dad? Because it'll move the plot along.
Yeah. Now, Dave, I've got to say.
Go on.
Sorry, go on. No, sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, just again, if we are not sure that Arnie is just this super commando type figure, he says to him, don't forget, they're downwind or something like that. And he's like, what? Do you think I can smell them? He's like, I did. So he's not only a super commando, he's a bloodhound as well.
He's fucking Wolverine, isn't he now, Dave?
It is a bit Wolverine Origins, that start, isn't it?
It's brilliant. You know what I love? It is actually, you're right. And what I love about this, the one scene in this, which I've always loved as a kid, is when he rolls the Cherokee Jeep down the hill. Yeah. It's brilliant, that. That is brilliant. So they've disconnected all the wires, haven't they? And they've took off with Jenny. And they're going around this, it's like a circle, like a maze down, sort of back down to the freeway. And he just rolls that van down. And there's a few times, Dave, there's no way that van suspension's taking that shit. I'm sorry, it was bouncing all over the place. There's a few bits where they've obviously lost a few of them Jeeps because it definitely would have turned over there at least. There's loads of fancy editing. But again, Matrix just, he takes a few of them out and then here we go. Dave, I'm sorry. Tony mentioned it a couple of weeks ago with Tank Girl. If you're going to have an absolute world-class goodie, you have to have an absolute world-class baddie. That makes the film. I'm sorry, but this fucking guy who's a cross between Freddie Mercury and a fucking guy from the Blue Oyster Bar and Police Academy, fucking Bennett, who's also the guy out of Mad Max, and he's also out of Weird Science on the bike. He's fucking totally miscast, Dave. He's the campiest bad guy ever. I'm sorry, I'm not having it.
It's definitely a fat Freddie Mercury, isn't he? And he's just
terrible.
We saw him in Weird Science as well. If you head over to our Comics in Motion podcast, I think it's about episode 25 or something like that. He pops up in that as well. And I'm sure you mentioned that he was Bennett in that episode whenever we did that. But I always thought like he was wearing chainmail, and it's not. When I was looking at it, it's like a mock chainmail. It actually looks like a comfy cardigan or something.
Yeah.
But when you've got Arnie, and I can't tell because for me he looks a bit smaller than when he was competing for like Mr. Universe and stuff.
Oh yeah, he would have been. Yeah.
So, but he looks better because he's a bit smaller. He looks a bit more lean and just in great shape. And then you've got old Muffin Top Bennett there. And I'm just not buying at all in his comfy chainmail cardigan that he's any kind of match for Arnie. And it's just very, very strange.
It is big. And I know, like, they build it, and he was saying in this film at one point later on, he's 6'2". Arnie's not even 6 foot, but obviously he was massive. He's huge as a specimen, as a bloke, Dave. Don't get me wrong. What a man. I've idolised him for years. But again, it's just, if you're going to have this John Matrix, who basically is Rambo, stroke John McClane, he's a one-man army wrecking machine who can take anybody out, at least have somebody who'll stand toe-to-toe with him, who's bigger than him. Someone who's, I know, we know this, you know this yourself, in real fighting, it doesn't matter how big you are, it's about how tough you are or what training you've had. I understand that, but in the movies, because it's all based on how big your muscles are and that, there's at no point in this film am I even bothered about fucking Bennett at all, Dave. I'm not thinking, oh my God, he's such a bad guy. All I'm thinking is, macho man.
You get on the old police uniform or the Indian or something like that. So, I mean, it is just bad. And that chainmail cardigan thing he's got on, it always just looked a bit weird because it was too small. And I found out years later, there was a different actor cast. So I don't know who this different actor is, but apparently he's smaller. So they didn't have time to kind of re-kit him up or anything. It must have been a really late casting. So that's why he's got this kind of not very flattering chainmail cardigan.
I mean, to be fair, the guy who plays Bennett, who's Vernon Wells, he's actually Australian and he's been in quite a few things. He's quite a well-respected actor, to be honest, Dave. He's a really, really good guy. He is a good guy when you see him in person. And he plays, in Mad Max, he's the one in the second Mad Max who's camp as anything. They're there at that sort of commune and he's part of that gang. He leads the gang against Mad Max. But in this, I'm just like, no, this is just all types of wrong. I love the film, and because of Arnie, it moves it along because of him, but he's totally, for me, the one thing in this film that's always pissed me off because I just think he's just no match for Arnie at all, Dave. He isn't. His dialogue as well is just terrible.
Well, we'll get on to some of the suggestiveness of his dialogue a little bit later, but what I think about this movie, Chris, is it motors along. It doesn't give you any opportunity to kind of stop and take a breath. There's no drawn out dialogue scenes or anything. Everything just motors along. And after, Matrix had caught up with them and rolling that Jeep down the side of the hill, then he ends up getting killed. And that's, like you say, that's when we'd met Bennett. And then we get a bit of dialogue. There mustn't have been any actual Hispanic actors at all around this time in the 80s. Because they just kind of give a few of the actors, who you see popping up in various movies, just a bit of the old fake tan. And then they're all supposed to be from this fictional country of Valverde, which appears in quite a few of the different other movies as well. I think it's Predator is meant to be set up in Valverde as well. So this is just this mythical place, I guess, Marvel Universe, you might say Wakanda or something like that. It'd be like Wakanda just appearing in other different movies. But yeah, so, that's where we get it drawn out, don't we? And Arnie has to go off and do this mission or else they're going to do bad things to her daughter. So they take him off to the airport. And then you get the little and large combo taking Arnie in there. And again, you start to get some of the brilliant use of Arnie's dialogue. And it made me think, because this original script, it was actually written by quite a famous comic book guy, a guy called Jeff Loeb. And his original script was that it was going to be an ex-Israeli special forces person, and then they drafted in Arnie, and then they sort of modified the script to suit Arnie better. You see, though, that obviously Arnie is not going to give you Shakespearean delivery of several pages of monologue. So you just have to give him a few lines, and he just delivers them so well for me. And Arnie gets a lot of stick, doesn't he, for his acting. Now, we've seen some terrible kung fu movies fairly recently, and I have to say, you know what? Arnie's acting, not that bad.
No, it's not. It's not.
But we start to get him here, because old, what was his name? Not Casey.
Sully.
You get Sully, not of Monsters, Inc. fame, but Sully is a distasteful little weasel in this, and he says, go and buy yourself something and give the lads a bit of extra time with your daughter. And he goes, you're a funny guy, Sully. That's why I'm going to kill you last. And again, just these short little lines are just so memorable. But then obviously we get him on the plane there, and that's where we find out he's going to have the length of the flight is 11 hours. So that's the amount of time he has to get his daughter and kill everyone, I guess.
Well, Dave, let me just talk a little bit. You are correct. Let me just talk a little bit about Sully. Now, Sully is a little weasel. And the one thing with this film that absolutely distracts me no end is all the music is from 48 Hours. The whole Caribbean drum thing that's going on is absolutely 100% the exact same score that's in 48 Hours, which came out the year before this, because that's one of my favourite films, 48 Hours. Not in my top 20, Dave, before you say anything, but it's one of my favourites because I had it for years with Eddie Murphy. Now, Sully, he's in 48 Hours. He's a little weasel in that. He's the main baddie in it. He was in jail with him with Reggie, which is Eddie Murphy, and they were all in together, and Eddie Murphy's stolen the money from this guy. And he's in that as a thing, but every time the music come on, it's so distracting because that whole, honestly, Dave, you'd have to watch 48 Hours and straight away, because the 48 Hours is based in San Francisco, because it's Nick Nolte, Eddie Murphy, and you're watching it and you're like, what is this? It's just exactly the same. And I know around this time you had films like Die Hard, Beverly Hills Cop, Lethal Weapon. They all took little bits of music because it was obviously generic music that people were making, composers and stuff, and added them in. There's another film, No Retreat, No Surrender 3, which I know we're going to review in the future, and the music in that is ripped off from Beverly Hills Cop 2. At the start of Beverly Hills Cop 2, there's like a weird clicking noise. It goes all the way through the film in No Retreat, No Surrender 3, and it's like they've taken the music score. So this seeing him in that was just like, this is just not bullshit, but it was just like so distracting because I've seen 48 Hours more than I've probably seen this, and I've seen this quite a lot. So I'd never noticed it upon this review. But let me just say something else, Dave. are you having that John Matrix can jump from a plane that's probably going about 200 miles an hour and land as if he's landed off a little trampoline, Dave? Are you really having that?
I mean, absolutely not. And there's a wonderful bit of editing, isn't there? Because, I mean, again, this is the days of practical effects. There's no CGI here, so they have to do this stuff. But when that person jumps out of the plane and then it cuts to someone falling into the marshes. I mean, I don't know which airport this is supposed to be, but it drops into the marshes. It's very clearly just dropped from about 10 foot or something. But I think for me, this is your first indication that this is almost like a comic book movie, isn't it? This is so far from reality. You just kind of have to go with it, or you're not going to enjoy the movie. You just have to suspend that disbelief, I think.
Yeah, and as much as I'm taking the mick and you are, I am really enjoying it because it's just right up my street. These were bread and butter films for myself. And I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but you've said it. We watched these sort of films on a loop when we were kids, so I'm not disliking it. I love Arnie. And what I love with Arnie in this is once we got over all the soppy father and daughter mushy bollocks, is he pulls that Terminator face so well. Now, he filmed Terminator 1 in 82, 83, came out around about 84. So this is pretty much one of his first films. I think it was this and Raw Deal. And that look he gives, Dave, in this, there's a few times where that full Terminator look comes, and I'd pay good money just to see that look because it's brilliant. When they piss him off, John, and he's stood in the supermarket, in the shopping centre, isn't he, with the air hostess, and they're all chasing him, and he's after Sully. Oh, brilliant. It's just like, yeah, that is definitely the Terminator. Exactly what you said. They've stole a lot of stuff from the Terminator.
Yeah, definitely. But it's blending that absolute physical specimen and very serious, smouldering look that he kind of has there with, you know, these bits of comedy and the dry way he delivers these lines. I mean, when he takes the guy out on the plane and he says to the air hostess, like, please don't disturb my friend. He's dead tired. Brilliant. And even when he was escaping and the air hostess sort of says to him to sit down, he just gives like the most unconvincing I'm airsick.
Yeah, but you don't question
just like you're not even trying. Oh yeah, no. You know, it's just like, all right then.
Yeah, but, it doesn't make any sense.
Not at all. I do like, and I saw Bill Duke, if you watch the making of Commando as well, you see Bill Duke talk about Ray Dawn Chong's character, Cindy. And she was like, you know, she plays a very prominent role in this. And for the mid-80s, for a black woman to play this kind of role was kind of a big thing. And I've seen it so many times. I don't even think about it, but see Bill Duke speak about it. It was like, oh, right, yeah, now that you mention it, other films around this time, you know, there's no kind of patronizing way that she's played. Okay, she's a bit whiny when he first kidnaps her, but I think most of us would be if we were kidnapped by Arnie. So, no, I really liked her character, and I must admit I had a little bit of a thing for her as well.
Yeah, she's pretty. She's very pretty. And when he obviously meets her in the airport and he's trying to hide in it from Sully, John, and he sort of gets her done, he goes, come with me and all that. And I mean, I like the fact Sully's got a nice, beautiful yellow Porsche. He's bang on that. And she's got this little coupe.
Distasteful weasel, though, isn't he? Where he's chasing after her, and then eventually, you know, he's like, fucking whore.
Yeah. Yeah, typical cliche, wasn't it? Because obviously a lot of the stuff in the 80s was just like, if you don't like me, I'm just going to attack you, or we're going to get a bit rapey. So
must be a lesbian.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's going to be a lesbian because she didn't want him. But again, he captures her, rips the seat out because he's hiding, and they chase after. So this is where they have this whole interaction in the shopping centre. And then that security guard's there talking to two girls in here, and his mate radios him, but he touches two girls and he goes, yeah, I think I've got a situation here. And he goes, do you want to see me kick some ass? And I'm like, what security guard fucking does that in a shopping centre? Look, you're either a failed policeman, you're either a failed soldier, or you're just nobody who watches too many movies. And I'm like, and he comes over and then he just sees Arnie and he goes, that's what I said about the height thing. He goes, yeah, this guy's 6'2". huge. With Andy Beckhoff.
He's one big motherfucker.
Yeah. And I love that whole fight scene. That fight scene's a bit reminiscent of some of the stuff Arnie did in Total Recall, where it was like, his fight is dead robotic, but it's believable because he's just the Hulk, and he's an absolute monster, Arnie. And the whole fight scene and that, and then when he chases Sully and they knock him off the road, Dave. I mean,
but before that, I mean, he picks up the
pod thing, doesn't? Yeah, the phone booth, yeah.
And it's just so iconic. And of course, you get when all the cops are on him, and you get that kind of comedy cartoon effect where he just goes rah, and then they all scatter. It's just so brilliant. And then he's swinging like Tarzan, and this is very much like we were talking about it the other day, the Jackie Chan Police Story mall scene. It was quite a lot of it that was quite similar from that, but really quite impressive. And like you say, they get into that car chase, don't they?
Brilliant. And when he eventually knocks him over, obviously both cars are knackered, and he picks him up, doesn't he? And he gets him, and he gets that key for the hotel room, and he says to him, where is she? And he's like, he won't tell him. And he goes, I don't need you, or something like that. As he's holding him off with one hand. There's no physical way he could do it. This is my weak hand. Yeah, and I love the bit when he says, remember when I said I was going to kill you last? He goes, yeah, you did. He goes, I lied. And just drops him. And I love the way Arnie or John looks over the side. Most people are turning away like, oh, God, that's terrible. But he just looks at to say, I hope you're dead, you little bastard. I love the way he pushes the Porsche back over, though, Dave, because it's knackered in here. And he's like, we haven't got a car. And he pushes it. But this bit now.
You know what? Sorry, Chris. I'm going to ruin it for you now. When he drops Sully?
Yeah.
Sully drops to his death and he goes, ooh la la. Go back and listen to it. And he does. He absolutely goes, ooh la la.
Oh, no. You're going to ruin it now, Dave. I'm going to have to watch it.
I don't know why he's chosen that sound effect. But, yeah, he might as well have just gone, ooh, sakibada. But, yeah, I had to tell you about that because I'd never noticed it before. But I was like, what the hell? You normally expect that Wilhelm scream, don't you, that appears in everything. But
yes, yeah, you do.
But, so sorry, you were saying about he pushes the Porsche back over, doesn't he, which miraculously fixes itself in the drive-off scene. Yeah,
it does, to be fair. But, Dave, the next bit for me was, we can take Arnie and we can take the absolute nonsense that comes with these sort of films. But are you having that he breaks into a gun store with a massive tractor stroke sort of forklift truck? There's no alarm on this shop that's actually got every weapon going, and they randomly have grenades just on a shelf like it's nothing and rocket launchers. And I was like, why is there no alarm here? And I know obviously he ends up getting captured, but I was like, I don't fucking believe this. And then let me set a scene.
It was a stretch, wasn't it?
A little bit of a stretch, Dave. And then he does get arrested by the police. So he get in the back of the paddy wagon, and he's got, again, typical 80s cliche. The two sleazy security guards or coppers. She pulls up next to him and the guy's like, hey, yeah, this. And I'm like, oh, fuck off. But we're supposed to believe that from the time Arnie's got arrested, she's ran to the Cadillac, with all these weapons. She's sat there and she's worked out and read the instructions how to use a bazooka. Are we supposed to believe that, Dave? Let's be honest here. I mean, she fires it backwards and then gets him. The van's moving at some knots, but when you keep cutting to it, it's moved about 10 yards. And I'm like, fuck off.
And again, you can actually see. So for these types of car scenes, you've got like I can't remember what they call it, like an exploding pin at the bottom.
Yeah, they do.
To basically make the van go up, and you can clearly see it there. But yeah, that line stood out to me as well. Not only like that, but I mean, what is her motivation? So, she's been kidnapped. It's taking Stockholm Syndrome to the next level, isn't it? It's like, oh no, but I don't only just feel sorry for him now. I'm going to blow up, and break out of this, my captor. out of his prison there. So, yeah, again, I kind of thought about this for a second, and then I'm like, because it's the nostalgia, it just wins out. I'm just like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to go for it. Yeah. But as well as Arnie being impressed, like, you managed to read the instructions, well done. It's like, you could have fucking killed me. Yeah. You could have blown up the whole van, for fuck's sake. But yeah, just got to go with it, haven't you?
And you're saying that, Dave, she's obviously been yearning to be part of the A-Team, because we've said it before in a lot of the reviews we've said, they'll just put stuff in there because the plot needs it. It doesn't matter if it makes no fucking sense whatsoever, Dave. But apparently she's training to be a pilot. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that.
Quite handy.
But how convenient for the film. And she actually works out what the fuel consumption is on the plane and which island she's gone to. So she's now a scientific fucking genius. And so she's gone from a trolley dolly in the plane to this. I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I'm not fucking buying it. She's become like an absolute Navy SEAL and Commando in the space of about 20 minutes. This girl, it's obviously been in a sort of G.I. Jane. She's wanted to be Dave. I wasn't having it at all.
She goes very quickly from, this is a canoe with wings. And it's like, oh, just give it the good old college try. All right, then. I'm fucking brilliant at this. Maybe, Chris, it's the Matrix. Maybe someone was pulling her strings there and just uploaded the ability to fly this thing perfectly.
Oh, my God. It was ridiculous, wasn't it? Because what I've got to say, though, Arnie, you've got to give him credit. So they land at the island, don't they, to rescue his daughter. And he's just got these Speedos on. So obviously he don't want to get his clothes wet. And he looks an absolute like he's going to get on stage. But you're sort of thinking, he's only done that because he's got in proper shape for this film. You know what I mean? I know it's a Hollywood thing. But what made me laugh is as he's rowing backwards and she's in the plane, they're obviously in the sea, and she's looking. And you can see Arnie nearly rose into the cameraman, Dave, and he literally cut it. I mean, did you not notice that? He literally, as he's doing like the back shot of his back and he's rowing, so you see like the top of his traps and everything. He's like rowing there, like that proper V shape. And you can see him trying to look over his shoulders. He's saying, shit, where's the camera people and the boat that they're in? And he literally hits it. And just as he's about to hit it, they cut it off.
So I think this is the bit, actually, where there was supposed to be a love scene between him and Cindy. But apparently it just came out terrible and it looked just really awkward and rubbish. So they just cut it all out.
Dave, I tell you what they should have cut out. Fucking Bennett, when he's talking to the Colonel, and he's...
Oh, no. This is brilliant. This is the most... He's so crushing on Mr. Matrix there.
Dave, I'm telling you, he doesn't want to kill John Matrix. I think he wants to fuck him because it's absolute nonsense. He's saying to the fucking Colonel, you do realise, he goes, listen to your pissant soldiers talking tough. He goes, you do realise that me and Matrix could just destroy them. And I'm like, oh, fuck off. You're not destroying anybody, pal. Fucking nonsense. What if you're destroying his them fucking leather pants you've got on? Destroying anything.
I think he would want to destroy John Matrix.
Especially them Speedos, Dave.
But yeah, he is definitely crushing on John there, isn't he? The way he talks about him is just, there's definitely a bit of a, from his side anyway, a bit of a bromance.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And this is where we get, Dave, the one-man army that is John Matrix. Now, let's set the scene. So his daughter, she sort of realises she's on hiding to nothing. She's got to try and do something. And John Matrix goes John Rambo on us, Dave, doesn't it? He gets every gun possible. And you have mentioned before about stuff like this in these films. There's no movement. I said it with Tank Girl a few weeks ago. She blatantly stands in the line of fire. And what I love is when he's getting chased around this mansion, the guys are chasing him, but they're shooting in the air, and you can see the guns are obviously triggered, aren't they, with blanks or something. And as he's running, Arnie, they're all like firing in the air, but there's loads of scenes where he's undercover, no one knows where he is, and they're firing. You can hear gunfire in the background. I'm like, but why are you firing at him? He's not, you're nowhere near. You can hear firing in the distance. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Oh dear. And while all this mayhem's going on, he's brought Jenny up quite well, so she's quite resourceful, isn't she? So she manages to get out of her little captive prison there. And again, I'm just going to take the piss out of Bennett, because he finds that Jenny's escaped, and then he bursts through this kind of wooden wall, and then very gingerly kind of gets over the fence. Gingerly / awkwardly gets over the fence. And I'm like, oh, come on. These are supposed to be, the absolute kick-ass commandos all out there. And, it's just pretty terrible. In fact, I'm going to go back really quick, because I've just thought of something there with old Bill Duke's character when they were fighting in the motel room as well. Because you get that wonderful line, don't you? Bill Duke says he's a Green Beret, and he says, I eat Green Berets for breakfast, and right now I'm very hungry. Just a brilliant line. But did you notice, Chris, that when they kick through to the other room, there's a couple and they're getting a bit frisky, and, if we know anything about 80s movies, we need a pair of boobs in there somewhere. What I hadn't noticed up until this rewatch is that the guy is actually the one on all fours and the woman is behind him. So I thought, well, this must be like International Women's Day, I'm assuming. I just thought, for a little throwaway, couple of extras there, I thought, why would you do that? But yeah, it was just, again, when we go through these rewatches, we obviously look at things with a different perspective. And quite often I'm looking in the background to see things going on as well with, what are the extras doing and whatever. And that just pops up and I'm like, oh, fucking hell, didn't notice that before.
It is bizarre, Dave, completely bizarre. There's some bits in it throughout the film are just fantastically 80s, aren't they? They're just cliched macho bullshit. So much, and I think you had to play up to that, to be fair. It's what everyone knew at the time. But yeah, I mean, John's going around this house. He then ends up on the roof of the house, which is probably, as a one-man army with all these people shooting out, probably the worst place you could be. Because even if you're a bad shot, you're going to get pretty close to him and someone's going to hit him. Anyway, that goes out the window. And he ends up having this monumental, well, I've called it monumental. It's a fight with Bennett, shall we say, Dave. It's ridiculous. And Bennett kicks the shit out of him, which I just don't believe for 1 minute. Like I say, muscles don't mean everything, but going off the film and the way he's just steamrolled people, he'd absolutely levered cut Bill Dukes in that motel, didn't he? And he's like, he was a boxer and everything. I'm not having it one bit. I mean, Bennett was ridiculous. It's absolutely just a joke. It's a joke, that fight.
The thing I like about it, though, is, again, he gets off a good shot, doesn't he, with Arnie? And then he's got him pinned down. And he's like, come on, you want to gut me like a real man. Bennett's face when he just goes absolutely nuts. It is just the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. It's just like, he goes from, again, this cold-blooded killer to, I'm going to get you, John. Ah!
Yeah.
It's just completely uncontrolled and just absolutely ridiculous. And I believe that when they were filming that, Arnie had said to the directors, don't give him a real knife, because he really gets into character and really goes for it. But in the movie, forget Arnie, forget the actors, I just don't buy it. But again, it finishes off in a climactic way and a bit of a one-liner as well, doesn't it?
Let off some steam. It's I think yours are better than mine, Dave. That's terrible. I can just pull off, get to the chopper, but that's about it. Even that's terrible. It's more my accent, really. But yeah, it's Arnie, isn't it? It's Arnie 101, and Kirby comes and he says to him, like, do you want to rejoin? He's like, no. And he goes off, doesn't he, with Cindy and Jenny, and rides off in the plane to the sunset. And I was ashamed, really. I would say, Dave, I'd have loved to have seen a sequel, to be honest. It could have set him up properly. I mean, but then again, you probably end up with a Commando, sorry. You probably end up with a Predator film, basically, because he'd be back. Yeah. It's the same thing, innit? So maybe it was just like a one-shot film, wasn't it? Like Raw Deal was and stuff. So, I mean, Predator born sequels off it, but Arnie never appeared in them, didn't he? Danny Glover was in the second one. So,
Well, there was a second Commando that was being written and never got shot. I think Arnie he wasn't really interested in reprising the role of John Matrix. And there were rumours about Die Hard was meant to have evolved from the script of Commando. And that's because of the way one of the producers, Stephen D'Souza, his involvement in both of those scripts. But he did go on to deny it. And I've just got a little clip here because I was interested. I'd heard that basically Commando 2 turned into Die Hard, and basically John McClane was John Matrix originally. But this is what D'Souza said. He says, I don't know how this story started on the internet. It's completely wrong. Die Hard is based on a novel called Nothing Lasts Forever by the author Roderick Thorpe, which is a sequel to his early book, The Detective. In fact, a good bar bet, if you want to make someone some cash, is to ask someone, who is the first actor to play John McClane in what movie? They will all say Bruce Willis in Die Hard, and you say, no, Frank Sinatra in The Detective, and then run out before you get beat up. So there you go. I'd thought for a while that that Die Hard was spun off, but apparently Commando 2, this script, like so many millions of scripts in Hollywood, it just never actually went anywhere.
No, which is strange again, but it worked out better for everyone because Die Hard's a classic, Dave. So
yeah.
Bruce Willis just came into his own. I'm sure we'll be reviewing that one down the line. Now, Dave, should we go into our review?
Yeah, let's go.
So, wouldn't mind you going first on this one, please, Dave, this week?
Yeah, no problem. So, for me, this sparked off a lot of nostalgic memories. Again, this is kind of my a movie for me when I was in that kind of in-betweener stage where I was moving from childhood into adulthood, and I just absolutely loved it. And I felt this movie, as it was motoring on through, it just didn't take a breath at all, and it is just so 80s action movie. You could send this off into space, as a description of what were our movies like in the 80s, and just send this off. And there aren't too many movies where Arnie plays this kind of military role. A lot of the times, he does a lot of sci-fi and fantasy stuff, whereas, Sylvester Stallone seemed to corner the market on this particular type of action hero. So this and Predator, I do hold quite highly. It is very, very dated. It's very, very unbelievable. But, whereas other films, I may not give a pass for that, for this one, probably sparked off by my nostalgia, I just think I'm just going to give it a free pass. This is a comic book movie. Original script written by a comic book guy, so I'm giving it a free pass for everything. What I would say is it's probably not right at the top for me in terms of Arnie movies. I think when we get onto Terminator, those might be my favourites. But this is a very, very strong movie. Some absolutely brilliant one-liners as well. And absolutely loved going back to it on this rewatch. I'm going to send it to Pleasantville because I still want to leave myself some room for that exclusive club right at the top in Cloud City. Now, what about yourself, Chris?
Yeah, again, great rewatch. Fantastic Arnie, as ever, just being Arnie. Like I say, the one-liners, the build-up, the muscles, the unbelievably ridiculous plot. Obviously, for me, though, Bennett ruins a lot of what's good about this film. I do love it. It's one of them films I could watch it any time it's on. I'll never get bored of watching it. I've watched it numerous times. I don't hold it up as as high of opinion as yourself, Dave. I think it's a great film. I think Arnie is just a one-man wrecking crew, the sort of stuff I love, but I just can't send it to Pleasantville. I think for me, I'm going to send it to Hill Valley. And again, fantastic, but I'm still sticking to my mantra that if you've got a bad baddie, then you're still somewhere along the line. Someone's got to pull it up to get it to that next level for me. And fucking Bennett is terrible. So everything else about the film is brilliant. Like I say, the score bugged me a bit because it's just ripped off from 48 Hours. It's exactly the same music. But other than that, if you just want a stupid hour and a half Don't think about it. Don't blink. You are right. I think the one thing I got to give credit about some of these older films, the 90-minute mark, it's very rare now that you see a film that's not over 100 minutes long in this day and age. It's 90 minutes and it's perfect. You are right. He literally gets into the mission of like this thing they want him to do, assassination, and obviously it turns into him having 11 hours to save his daughter within 10, 15 minutes of the film starting. And that, for me, is a plus, because you don't need the whole backstory. You just need him to be kicking ass, and that's what he does from the start. So yeah, Hill Valley for me, Dave.
Yeah, can you imagine if like Zack Snyder or someone directed this and we get the whole backstory for John Matrix, and you know, we'd spend half an hour probably finding out what happened to his wife and, you know, Jenny's mum. We don't need any of that. It's just pure 80s action. And for me, this is like it's like having a McDonald's Big Mac or something. You know, it's really not good for you. There's not good quality meat in there. There's just nothing about it. But it's just, sometimes you just want something quick and dirty that just tastes pretty good. So for me, that's what Commando is.
Was that the front of the video, Dave? I don't remember that one. Dave Horrocks says, fucking brilliant. Fantastic, Dave. Really good. Now, if you want to get in contact with the show, on Twitter, at VHS Strikes Back. And if you want to email the show with any suggestions of films you want myself and Dave to review, obviously it's all got to be the VHS era, good or bad, you want myself and Dave to review, please email us, the VHSstrikesback@gmail.com, and we'll put it on the list and we'll try and get it done within our schedule. So again, thank you very much, Dave. And you did say at the top of the show that I was expecting some Arnie terrible impressions. We've not heard a lot of them from you today, so I think it's only right that you should throw us out there with an Arnie one-liner.
You know what, Chris? I am getting sick of you throwing me under the bus consistently for every podcast that we do. And so all I'm going to say is,
fuck you, asshole.
I can't argue with that. Goodbye.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
I'll be back.
That's odd. We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Wax on, wax off.
Get to the chopper!
One ring to go.
All right. Ding, ding.
Bust you up. Go for it.
Well, here we go.
Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Come on. Ain't so bad. Come on. You must be crazy or something. I'm crazy. You just a stupid. Yeah, maybe you stupid. I ain't breathing heavy. He's a fool. He's stupid. I've seen you in 6 months.
I must break you.